Mayor Michael R. Bloomberg, fresh off a defeat in his campaign to limit large servings of sugary drinks, is returning to a front where he has enjoyed far more success, making it more difficult to smoke, by proposing legislation on Monday requiring stores to put cigarettes out of sight. Mr. Bloomberg said his bill would make New York the first city in the nation to force retailers to keep tobacco products hidden. He said they could be kept, for example, in a cabinet or a drawer, behind the counter or a curtain, but not anywhere where customers could see them. The campaign is intended to shield children from tobacco marketing and to keep people who have quit smoking from buying cigarettes on impulse, he said. Such displays suggest that smoking is a normal activity, and they invite young people to experiment with tobacco, Mr. Bloomberg said at a news conference. He also proposed a second bill that would raise penalties for retailers who evade tobacco taxes by selling smuggled cigarettes, prohibit them from redeeming coupons and require them to sell cheap cigars and cigarillos in packs of at least 4. It would also create a minimum price of $10.50 per pack for cigarettes and little cigars, as a further disincentive to smoke. The bills would not stop stores from advertising that they have cigarettes for sale, or from displaying prices, and they would not apply to tobacco stores, which cannot admit minors without their parents. As Mr. Bloomberg finishes his third and final term, he has been intent on burnishing his legacy, hiring extra public relations help and promoting his health agenda, where he has been a recognized national figure with his efforts to reduce trans fat, salt and sugar consumption, and to curb smoking, teenage pregnancy and obesity. The current proposals will go to the City Council for its consideration, a step that Mr. Bloomberg skipped when he proposed a ban on sugary drinks bigger than 16 ounces in movie theaters, restaurants and other establishments. That rule went through the city's Board of Health, and a state judge ruled a week ago that the board, among other missteps, had exceeded its authority. The city is appealing the ruling. If the cigarette laws are passed, precedent suggests New York City will face another legal challenge. The village of Haverstraw in Rockland County passed a ban on cigarette displays in retail stores last April, but rescinded it in August when it could not afford to litigate a suit brought by tobacco companies and convenience stores, according to a report in the Rockland County Times. A spokeswoman for Christine C. Quinn, the council speaker and mayoral candidate, said that the council would review the bills but that she supports the goal of these bills. Cigarettes are like wallpaper at many convenience stores and, like bottled water and lottery tickets, account for a large percentage of sales. But they have dropped from their best-selling position because of high taxes, James S. Calvin, president of the New York Association of Convenience Stores, said on Monday. The combined city and state taxes add $5.85 to the cost of every pack, the highest in the country, and more than the pack itself costs, in many cases. We think it's patently absurd, Mr. Calvin said of the proposed restriction. Can you think of any other retail business that is licensed to sell legal products that is required to hide them from the view of its customers? I can't. He noted that convenience stores also display beer and lottery tickets and pharmacies display condoms, and he asked, rhetorically, whether anyone thought those items compelled young people to start drinking, gambling or having premarital sex. Is all of that rational and logical? He said. I don't think so. David Sutton, a spokesman for Altria, parent company of Philip Morris USA, said the company supported federal legislation banning sales to minors and through self-service. But he added, to the extent that this proposed law would ban the display of products to adult tobacco consumers, we believe it goes too far. Mohsen Al-Muflahi, the manager of the Long Island Express deli near the Jamaica, Queens, transit hub, predicted that the new laws, if passed, would not make any difference. His store carries a rainbow-like display of cigarette packs, along with ads for a pack of Newports at $11 promoting its premium tobacco pleasure and the other for a pack of Maverick cigarettes at $10.85. If they want to smoke, they'll smoke anyways, he said. City officials say smoking still kills 7,000 New Yorkers a year. In 2002 the number reported was 8,722. The city's adult smoking rate dropped to 14.8% in 2011 from 21.5% in 2002, according to health surveys, amid high cigarette taxes and limits on smoking in public. The mayor said the rate among high school students had been stalled at roughly 8.5%, about half the national rate. Since 2007, Mr. Calvin said cigarettes had been displayed behind the counter since a 2002 state law banned their display on the counter, where, the logic went, they could be shoplifted by teenagers. Some manufacturers provide financial incentives for product placement, he said. The Bloomberg administration has banned smoking in almost all public spaces, including parks, plazas and beaches, as well as restaurants and bars. But the current proposal comes after some legal defeats for anti-smoking measures. In 2010, a federal judge struck down the New York City law that would have forced tobacco retailers to post gruesome images of health damage caused by smoking, finding that only the federal government had the authority to regulate cigarette warnings and advertisements. The federal regulation requiring similar graphic warnings on cigarette packages and advertising was struck down by the Federal Appeals Court for the District of Columbia last year, on the ground that it violated corporate free speech rights. The court majority found a lack of evidence that graphic warnings had reduced smoking in countries like Canada that had them. Many experts expect the issue to go to the Supreme Court.